I was thinking about my lighting design and how it's changed over the years. Back in the old days, I had a fixed light show, and it consisted of an overhead truss system. Lights were kind of shining at the audience. Or if you fast forward to today, it's what I can only describe as guerrilla lighting. I'll walk into a space and I'll design lighting on the fly. I'll just kind of look at the room and see what might work well and put something together. And the reason I'm able to do this is because not only have I learned several techniques over the years about lighting and how it works, but I've also got the tools now to make this job pretty easy. So this is what the old light show looked like, and anything from scanners to pars or jewel effects or whatever I had was pretty much shining at the audience. When I went to scrim for my speaker stands, I thought it would be interesting to use the LED pars behind the white scrim. That did a couple of things for me. It was something that diffused the diode of the light itself. When things were up in the air shining at the audience, people could see the diodes, and my concern was this could be a painful experience if you caught that diode in the eye. So by using the scrim, it was almost like a diffuser or a lens. It spread out the light a little more and reflected the light onto the dance floor. And that worked pretty well for quite a while. I was using lights that you had to plug into the wall. And also, if I was going to control these lights, I needed to use some kind of DMX interface or controller where I had to run wires to these lights as well. If I did something around a room like this, it looked pretty cool, but the problem was there was a lot of cable to run if I wanted to DMX it. And I also had to rely on power outlets to be in places where I wanted to have lighting. There were concerns like doorways. Am I going to run a DMX cable across a doorway? If I am, how am I going to secure that with some kind of throw mat or with gaffer tape? And you know, there are times when you are doing an event where you don't want to put all this time into lighting. You figure the squeeze isn't worth the juice. I'm not even going to bother doing that. So sometimes you just end up with the static colored uplighting around a room where you weren't really controlling it in any meaningful way. Now it's very different. I went with battery powered lighting and wireless controlled lighting. Now what I'm using is APE, but you could absolutely do this with wireless DMX and battery powered par fixtures. You can kind of place them wherever you want in the room and control them without running wires, without relying on power outlets being where you want lights. And I have several different types of lights in my toolbox to create different effects. What's fun is when you go back to a venue over and over again, and over time you improve the experience with lights. Here's an example. If I go back to maybe 2013, 2014, this is how I was lighting this space. I had the scrims. I was relying on the lights to kind of bounce off the scrims onto the audience. And you're also thinking about the ceiling too. If any of that light's hitting the ceiling and it's white, it's reflecting back down. That's also really helpful. Then I added moving heads to the mix, eliminated the scrims, and decided to try to just reflect those pars off the back wall, like as an uplighting type of thing. I was relying on the outlets to be there for AC, of course. But then when we went battery powered, I could spread out a little bit more. In this picture, I'm actually using APE sticks. They're magnetic, and this particular dance floor has a metal railing around it. So I was able to put those sticks all around the dance floor. And notice a lot of that light is reflecting off the ceiling back down on the dance floor and anything that's on the dance floor like dancers. So you're creating a really cool wash effect. And you're using the elements that are there in the room, like the metal railing, the white ceiling, and it's all wireless, so I don't have to worry about running any cables. Then I did an event last weekend where I looked at this picture I had taken and said, you know, I think I can make it better. And I used some other lights wherever there was a wall. Behind me there was a wall, next to me there was like a half wall. But yeah, it improved the experience. It made it even better. And that's kind of how it goes. I'm learning as I go. I walk into an event, I get creative immediately and think, wow, what can I do with the space that's in front of me? I don't have to worry about a lot of technical stuff with the power outlets and the cable runs. It just makes life a lot easier to go wireless on this stuff and not really have a plan when you walk into most venues. Just kind of go for it. So anyway, quick video for you. That's what I do now. What do you guys do with your light shows? Let us know in the comments section. We'll see you next time. Practice and enjoy.